This is a Mikrotik knot. Let's set one up. So this is the knot, and without trying to make a cheesy unboxing video, we get rid of the useless stuff and we get to the good stuff. So there's your little unit. Simple overview: 2 Ethernet ports, nano SIM card slot, power supply, RS485, and a little secret actually hidden underneath the cover here. So let's plug it in and get started. So let's quickly see what we need. What we're going to need is 2 antennas, and these antennas are not included in the box, so you need to supply your own antennas. One goes to the Cat M1 NB-IoT port over here, which is clearly marked, as you can see. Hope that is clear. And that is to serve as the LTE antenna. The second one over on the side here is the actual LoraWAN antenna. It's not marked with any labels, but that's where it is. And for now, we'll just use a standard LTE antenna. It covers the band required for us for 915. But when you actually deploy this unit, you might want to get a different antenna, because this will not give you the range you require out of your LoraWAN setup. And then last, we need an actual LTE SIM card to get the connection going. And then, of course, the power supply that's provided with this device. And before I forget, you would need an Ethernet cable, and I'm assuming for this video you know where the other side of this cable is going, otherwise this video is probably not for you. So connecting everything up, the first things we'll do is we'll grab our little SIM card. For this size you would need the nano SIM card, which is the smallest SIM card of the bunch. Here you can see it, and all of these little plastic useless things you can throw away. And then what you can see over here is actually right next to the power port there is a nano SIM card slot over there, and you see the little drawing on the SIM card slot. You want to match up your device's little image the same way, and then just slot it in, pushing firmly until you hear a click. And what you'll notice is it's actually flush when inserted. Next, what we'll do is we'll connect the Ethernet connection, and the Ethernet connection is only needed if you, for the first time. We'll actually set this up after the fact with Wi-Fi, and then we can do everything over that. So that goes into Ethernet port 1, like so. And then last but not least, what you need is obviously power. So just plug that straight into your little port, and you should be good to go. And if we actually plug the device in and you've got a successful connect or power, you will see that the light starts flashing on the side. Now, don't worry about anything that right now. So what you want to do is just go to Mikrotik's website, look for their supporting tools, download Winbox, just pick whether you're 32 or 64-bit. Open that up, and if you go to neighbors and you refresh your page, you'll actually see that there's a Mikrotik that pops up with 192.168.88.1, which is a default Mikrotik IP address. You can look at the board and the version number just to confirm that that's the board you're actually looking at. And then what you want to do is just double click on the MAC address. The default username and password is just admin, no password. So what you want to do then obviously is just change your password. It's just for security reasons that the default password has to be changed at the time of setup. It's always a good idea just to disconnect and reconnect so it doesn't disconnect you like it's doing right now. So type in your password, and from now on forward you would have to remember that password to log back into your router. So one of the first things we want to do is actually set up the security profile, because we need to connect your Wi-Fi to your local Wi-Fi Connect network. So going into the wireless table, clicking on security profiles, and then just selecting all the different protocols, typing in your own home's Wi-Fi password. Then go to interfaces, wireless, and what you want to do is actually head down to security profiles. You can enable advanced mode, it's just better to see it that way. But security profiles, and then you select the profile you just created for security, say apply and enable. So now you can scan, and through the scan you should see your local SSID. You can select it, connect to it. Don't worry about the error. It's going to disconnect you to reconnect you after it's connected. So you'll see a new interface pops up. Don't worry that it doesn't have an IP. That's not an issue right now. So what you want to do is head over to bridge. Just add the default bridge as is. And then what you want to do is just go to ports and add the VLAN 1 port to the same bridge. As well as Ethernet 1 to the same bridge. So make sure that both VLAN 1 and Ether 1 is actually applied to the same bridge. You can remove them later if you want to, but for now you need to add them both. Then what you want to do is just head over to NAT and select NAT and apply the default NAT as is, and it should be good to go. Then what you want to do is just head over to DHCP client, and what you want to do is add a DHCP client to the bridge we just created, and that'll just negotiate with local networks and get an IP address from them. Next you want to head over to DNS, and you want to add 2 default DNS devices. So the one is 888, which is Google, as well as another one, 1111. Apply, OK, and then we want to head to new terminal and just ping Google, which is 88888 without the errors. And with any success you would see that you get ping times back from Google and no timeouts. So when you see that, you know you've got an internet connection on your device. Next you want to head over to packages, check for updates, and if you see any updates, it's always a good idea to install your updates because for bug fixes and reliability issues. So hit download and install. This can take a while, so don't be fussed if yours takes a bit longer than this. This is sped up for the purpose of the video. It might restart a few times while doing this, but it's generally a good idea after it's logged in to manually make sure that it's updated, otherwise force it to update. So just wait for it to reconnect. Right, so what you can do is head over to Systems, Router Board, and then hit Upgrade at the top there, and you'll see the current firmware version is still the old one, so hit Upgrade. And it will actually ask you, and at the bottom you'll see a little red notice that says this has now been successfully updated, but you still need to restart your system. So head over to System, Reboot, and after this reboot you should be good to go. Right, interfaces. Now we want to head over to PPP, create a PPP client, and this is for the LTE connection. So it's modem. Your APN will be whatever your SIM card is you're using. For me it's just TEL, so it's all lowercase TEL. All of this stays the same, and say apply. What you want to do over here is data channel is 4, info channel is 2, and modem initialization is AT. So hit apply. Now this can take up to 20 to 30 minutes depending on the signal strength in your area. The first time is always the longest, so you can carry on with something else in the meantime, but be sure to check in. It'll restart, reset quite a few times before it actually gets a successful connection. So just to double check, you say modem, data channel 2, info channel 4, modem AT, triple P, everything there is the same. Hit apply and enable. If not enabled, then you can just give it some time. Let's clear out some of these dashboards. So you'll see on the log bin, basically when it gets a connection, you'll see the public IP address and so on and so forth. And bottom corner, you'll actually see that there's a thing that says status successfully connected. If you look at the interface list right next to the PPP out, there'll be a little R which stands for registered. So your LTE connection at this stage is good to go. Next, we'll take a look at LoRa. So the LoRa is disabled by default, and what you want to do is go in and just look at your servers. So if you had a custom server, you could set up your custom server into the server address here, as well as point it in the right direction. What you want to do is open up the device and actually rename your gateway to what you want. Here you select which channel that you are willing to talk on, and as well as the server that you're pointing to. Now, one note, that channel plan you can actually customize. If you guys want to know how to do that, just drop me a comment and I'll happy to make a video about that. Hit OK. Next, we're going to head over to the Things network, create an account. This is all again just sped up. After you verified your account, you should be able to log into your newly created console. Here you paste your address that you just took from your Mikrotik. You can give your device a name. Select the same frequency plan you selected in your Mikrotik and hit register. Now, this might take a while. Sometimes I see you need traffic to actually hit the air. There should be local traffic in your region, but otherwise, generally, when you've enabled your gateway and you've applied all the settings, then it should just connect within 2 to 3 minutes. So hit enable there. You'll see it says starting, and when it says enabled, you can start looking at TTN to see if you get a successful connection. And there you have it. It should update every 30 seconds. And for those that didn't see it, the little surprise at the end, the Mikrotik underneath that cover actually has a slot where you can break it open, and there's some analog as well as some digital pins that you can use to connect to external devices to control or to monitor power supplies or any GPIOs you might have for an IoT application. So there you have it. If you found this information useful, or if you'd like to know something a bit more in depth, please let me know. This was a very high level. It's to just get your device going and get some LoRa packets up and running.